internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, chapter 195. This is a few days late. I've been very busy this week. I just started a new job, so I'm going to try to get all the videos I missed this past week in the next day or two. But yeah, Eden Zero 195. When we last left our heroes, Killer and Clown had warped on board the Eden Zero to fulfill their purpose of taking care of killing their shining counterparts in Sister and Hermit. They initially encountered Lobelia, who was rescued by Moscow with Couchpo's help. Before Moscow could finally push that damn button, Sister and Hermit arrived to fight their counterparts. Meanwhile, the armies of the other four members of the Interstellar arrived to join the fight against the dragons. Justice, and I think Elsie also knows, but definitely Justice is aware that Acnoella has found him and Elsie. Elsie is still bound in that little shed. Shiki's still looking for everyone. I think he's found Pino and Hermit, or he at least knows where they are, but hasn't gotten to them yet. And then the fight begins in the Eden Zero, specifically between Hermit and Killer, as Hermit and Killer have this taunting back and forth, where Killer reveals that he can use overdrive, as does Hermit, which also ties into some memories that Shiki receives from Killer and Hermit's human lives, discussing everything in the world being able to overdrive, or everything in the cosmos and the universe being able to overdrive, not just living things, even rocks and mountains and robots, though how that really factors them being kind of Otex is another question. But yeah, that being said, let's dive right on in chapter 195, Fictitious Story, which maybe will tie into whatever mysteries are hovering around. What is the facts that none of the stars believed they were ever human? Maybe this is tying into that. We'll see. Our picture here is Holy in a bikini and a robe behind her. I think this might be the pool from Dahlia. I'm not sure. I have to go back and check that arc. But we open right where we left off with Hermit's overdrive. The hair flowing behind her. Killer's just stunned. Overdrive, and Hermit just stares at him, and I'm not quite sure what this is. Either she spawns this data pole or something on her arm and whacks Killer with it, or she summons a beam of ether or something to hit him or something. But also, now that I think of it, I don't think we've even seen an ether gear really from Hermit before, let alone overdrive. So I don't know what kind of overdrive this is. What kind of ether gear is sort of being enhanced here. Anyway, Killer takes the hit, and Hermit goes in for a kick and kicks him in the neck, sends him flying. He rolls over the ground, and Killer picks himself up, a little bloodied up, or maybe it's dirt, but also it might be tying into the fact that the stars are seemingly former humans. But he activates his ether gear. We see the ether lines. That's impossible. This is way beyond any of the data I have on her. And Sister calls out to her, "Yo, Hermit, try not to break everything in the hangar, okay?" And she turns back to Clown. "Okay, Joker boy, you ready to start this fight?" And then she, in shock, realizes, "You're gone!" So Clown's gotten away somewhere, and she tries to find him. "Where did you go off, you little turd? You will not wander around the ship unsupervised." And then she reads something. "Wait, I'm getting a signal. Beginning pursuit." And she slams her hand on the wall. Aha! And we see he's in the Spa of Edens. Maybe getting a sudden ether boost before the fight begins or something. And Sister tracks him down there. "You little." And Clown calls to her. "I love large communal baths. Would you join me?" And Sister just mocks him. "You think this is some kind of game, punk? Huh?" And Clown, he was lying in the water. And now he's upright, everything below his nose underwater, as the water starts to get hotter, it seems. Shocking Sister. And then we see that same kind of nightmare mist he used on Rebecca, rising from the bath. "Water is life, but in my hands it turns to poison. I am the death of Edens, and I grant you an inescapable demise." And we see that the Bath of Edens has turned to this bubbling poison. And I love this bottom panel of Clown. Just this creepy ass grin as he, like, taunts Sister. Okay, like, that's some good shit there, Mashima. But then we come back to the subdimension program, where Shiki is still in the hospital, and he makes it to where Pino and Happy are. Pino, Happy, are you okay? Master! And Happy's just, like, in tears in their little bird cage. Ah, Rebecca, she was taken by that murky, foggy... But Pino calms him down. Please don't worry, Mr. Happy. Miss Rebecca is still alive. And Shiki, with like a very precise use of his gravity powers, just like pops open one of the bars of their cage, and he comforts them. Yeah, and we're gonna go find her. But we see there's this kind of like curtain blocking the hospital bed, and from behind it, there's some kind of creature above Shiki, and it's this giant robot centipede that squirms down. That's a cool creature design, also. Shiki looks at it in shock. Oh, but also he can't handle bugs. He's fucked. Bug! But then something hits it. I'm not sure who that might still be, unless Weisz is, like, broken free or something, because the rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat sounds like a gun, which sounds like Weisz. And it is Weisz! Bloodied up from his fight with Killer, but still able to shoot that fucking centipede. Weisz! And Pino asks, you were unhurt? But Happy sort of pushes back against that. All that blood doesn't say unhurt to me. But Weisz tells him, it's not as bad as it looks. My protection matrix blocked most of the bullets. But I still messed up. I was pathetic. So I think we're going to work out, because my issue back in 193 is that it was still a little unclear if we were supposed to read the image of Weisz's mom as real or not. Like, the way that, like, the translation had Killer say, is it real, period, I wasn't clear if it was meant to be, it is real, period, or is it real, question mark. Where, like, there was an error there, but I wasn't sure what it was. So I'm still not sure what exactly we're supposed to take from that moment. But Weisz seems to believe that she wasn't real, which would fit my idea that the only way that conflict makes any sense is if she wasn't real. I let him trip me with a hologram of someone who can't possibly be here. And Shiki sort of, commiserates with that. Yeah, they almost got me with that one too. And Pino tells them this dimension is not safe. And Happy chimes in, let's hurry and save Rebecca so we can get out of here. And Shiki asks, is there a way to get out of here? And Pino kind of questions, well, but Weisz interrupts, leave that to me. I think I've got this place figured out. I'm gonna remodel it. The whole dimension. This is a job for Weisz, given the nature of Mashima Maker. But then we cut back to the Hermit-Killer fight already in progress, as Hermit is just wailing on him, gets him with another ether attack, sends him flying, Gwah! And he spawns some, like, missiles out of his own ether, but Hermit just effortlessly dodges them, absolutely, like, clowning on this man. Killer's stunned, what? And Hermit just tells him, when I am in overdrive, my ballistics projection simulator is constantly running. Sorry, but your guns won't work on me. Your luck ran out the second you sneaked into our hangar. And she spawns a whole boatload of guns. Every weapon we keep here is network linked to me. And Killer only has a moment of shock before she unleashes Guns Harvest on him. As he's like overtaking the cloud of smoke and explosions. He takes all that damage. But he's still standing. He's beaten up. But he's still there as Hermit taunts. Do you really want to keep going? Oh, shit. And Killer is behind her now, untouched. She said in the illusion. There is our fictitious story. Poor thing. So proud of your victory. And you have no idea that you're fighting a hologram. And we see Hermit still seemingly on top in her fight with the hologram. All of that is a fictitious story happening in the program I created. The real me is behind you. And he has this sort of, I don't think we've seen this like tail thing before, but he sticks it into her neck. And also into her lower back. Because it's initially in her neck. We have she looks back, huh? What is happening? And now there's another one in her lower back with ether lines spreading from it. Let the darkness corrupt you. Now, come to our side. Oh, they're not going to kill the shining stars. They're going to corrupt them. Okay, that's interesting. And I'm sure this will somehow end up tying into the whole their human pasts thing that's been brought up before. I don't know, but at this point there's just a whole bunch of these, like, tails stabbing into her as Hermit screams, "Ah! A virus has been detected. Recovery protocol deactivated. Detecting hardware failure." And so... Oh, shit, Hermit! Hermit's playing him! Oh, good shit! And so it goes in the scenario where I'm sure you think your hologram is fooling me. And Killer realizes he's been fucking hologramception here. Sorry, but I'm pretty good at lifelike 3D holograms, too. The real me is behind you. And interestingly, she's not in overdrive here. Right? Because, like in overdrive, her hair is much fuller, it's all over the place, it doesn't really have the pigtails thing going on, as far as I can tell. Whereas with this attack, her hair seems much more like her non-overdrive form, which means maybe the overdrive was itself a hologram, or maybe not. No, because she only had little angel wings on her arms in overdrive. So this is still her overdrive form. The real me is behind you, and she, like, readies her fist. Logical arm blast, which is really just a fancy name for decking him. And his Killer, like, falls over. How did you know it was a hologram? I extracted the data on your fight with Weisz, so I was able to predict your battle style. And she comes out of overdrive here, implying the fight is over. Do you really think you can beat me at programming? And then she sort of comments to herself, but I guess I have Weisz to thank this time. And that's where we leave off. Okay, that's just fucking cool. It was just a cool little bit of like, constant one-upmanship here. As, Killer tried to let Hermit think she was ahead before he killed her, or corrupted her, or whatever. And Hermit actually let Killer think he was ahead before knocking him out. It was just fun all around. Like, I don't know, I feel like the sort of thing people might complain, oh, a Dark Star who's seemingly gone out in, like, one well-placed punch. But, like, the whole Battle of Wits was so fun that, like, I'm not complaining. It's a good time all around in the Killer fight. If this is the end of the Killer fight, I'm fine with that. If it's not, I'm okay with there being more here. It's just a good little showcase for Hermit's brains. Like, Hermit's never really been a fighter. I'm okay with her fight being more in the head than it is in the flesh, or in the machine, I suppose. And the hologram is still fun. The guns harvest, the, like, Killer just seemingly getting more and more desperate before revealing his trick, and then his confidence before Hermit reveals her trick. It's so good. It's just a fun fight there. But there's more stuff going on, too. There's the build-up towards Sister's fight with Clown, which, as much as I enjoyed the way Hermit sort of easily, seemingly took out Killer, I am hoping this fight is a little more in-depth. The fight with Killer was so sort of quick, and I guess you could call it painless. I want this one to be a bit more dragged out. Also, Killer's design is kind of fun. I want to see him really, like, put Sister through her paces. She wins in the end, perhaps, but I want a bit of a struggle here. Then beyond that, we have the bit with Shiki, and Weisz revealing that he was mostly fine from his fight with Hermit. He's still, like, lost. No denying that. But he has a plan that should stop the whole dimension. Given the nature of Weisz's powers. And from there they can rescue Rebecca. Maybe we'll still get to see a bit of Rebecca's nightmarescape. I still want to see that. But for now, Killer's down, I think. It does feel like Killer's down here at the end. Especially with her, like, un-overdriving in the last couple panels. But Sister Clown fight's about to start. There's still the subdimension thing going on with Weisz and rescuing Rebecca. And of course, in the background, there's still the arrival of the Interstellar, Acnoella, Crow fight, all that stuff going on. Lots of good stuff here, and I can't wait to see how all this plays out going forward. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!